This is the first video I've ever actually had to make before that I'm actually going to put on YouTube. Hopefully this will go okay. Chances are probably won't. Bear with me whilst I try and figure out a few of the bugs, get the lighting right, maybe come to a slightly different room where there's not great big shadows behind me, but this is the only room in the house that's relatively quiet. We're currently in quarantine. It's May the 30th today, so I don't know, that could be like a week into quarantine, maybe a little bit longer. Discovered the app Freeletics, and I decided to buy the coach version. It's the first time I've ever done it. I normally go to the gym just down the road from my house, but unfortunately due to the quarantine, everything's actually, you know, pretty much closed. So I thought, what can I actually do that still gets me fit and active whilst being outside? And Freeletics was the one of them. It might be Freeletics, maybe it's called Calisthenics. I really probably should look into this a little bit more. I know for certain the app is called Freeletics. By the way, I'm going to come across like an idiot throughout most of this, and I'm okay with that. I hope you are too. My name is Charlie, by the way. I don't know if I said at the very beginning there. So, little bit about me. I used to go to the gym a long time ago. The best was about 82 kilos. I'm now about 76, but I measured myself yesterday, probably not too accurately, but I got to around 12% body fat. I really want to slim down. I come from a family where the majority of my guys are not overweight, but they're maybe a little bit above average. Their diets probably aren't amazing. My diet is relatively okay. I try to be strict. I do some light cardio. I play squash every so often and go to the gym and lift free weights too, but I can't shed fat. It's so difficult. Yes, diet is a huge part of it, but I live with my other half and I like for us to have the same diet. So it doesn't really bother me to get right down to the single digits. I just would like to shed a little bit here and there. I'm normally quite good at carrying a lot of my weight. I don't hold a lot of it around my face, but it tends to go in my arms and on my bitch tits. I can't, they just don't go. I don't know what's going on. It doesn't matter how many press-ups I do, they start to get a little bit better, but all the fat is held there. I mean, there's a huge amount of fat. Anyway, I'm going to try and add some pictures onto the end of this so you can see what my body looks like now. I'll show probably a couple of images of what I used to look like a month ago and then a month before, but bearing in mind that was only gym and cardio. From today is the first day I've done calisthenics. I downloaded the Shred and Burn, did day one. I was going to record this immediately after I'd finished the session because I looked like I just died, but someone else came into my area and I didn't want to look like I was talking to a camera like I am now, at least in the privacy of my own home. I wanted to give a little bit of feedback on how I felt, how the session went overall, and I'm going to try and document this. I don't really even know why, but I'm in quarantine and there's nothing else to do. I don't actually have a tripod. This is currently held on with a bit of cardboard, so chances are I'm probably not going to record myself doing any of the workouts because that's just a really boring thing to watch. I can just tell you the updates and show you pictures of how I'm progressing week to week or month to month. There's going to be more of a noticeable difference probably after. And now I'm going to probably get some of these wrong because the app, so I can't check to see what any of the workouts were actually called or what was going on. So hopefully it'll be back up tomorrow. But started out with the press-ups. I think my technique was relatively okay with that. I found it quite challenging. Actually possible, so I did quite like that. But doing any plank exercises, I'm quite used to doing plank and ab workouts, so that's not really an issue. But I found my arms to really ache. It might have been just because I've done some press-ups, but I find they ache when I'm doing what are they called again? Planks. So who knows, maybe my technique's completely off. After that I did the plank ups. Now, first time I've ever done that before. I think I did it right. I mean, at least I did it according to what the video said, but the counting wise of it, I'm not too sure how that worked because it's coming up from, you know, starting in a high plank position to lowering one forearm on your right and then, you know, forearm on your left and then reverse back up. So I didn't know if once you've gone down and then up, that counts as one rep, or if you go down, that is one, and you come back up, that is two. It probably makes sense to go down and up, be one rep. Anyway, that's what I did, so hopefully that was right. Technique was definitely a little bit sloppy in the latter stages of doing this, as I think I repeated it probably about 3 times, so I was starting to get a little bit tired. Leg raises was followed. Leg raises came after that, and again, fine, easy, good technique, everything there fine. When it came to round 2, this is where things started to change a little bit. I did a Cossack squat. First time I've ever done one of those before. My technique was almost good. I actually watched a video sometime after having done the exercises and realised that where I've... leg raises came after that, and again, fine, easy, good technique, everything there fine. When it came to round 2, this is where things started to change a little bit. I did a Cossack squat. First time I've ever done one of those before. My technique was almost good. I actually watched a video sometime after having done the exercises and realised that where I've kept my feet firmly on the ground, I think it's probably best that I point my toes up when I'm coming down into the squat, and in that way it's probably less strenuous on my groin. But that's something I can do maybe if it's on tomorrow. I have fairly good form on that. I'm used to doing squats, but what I didn't know, and it doesn't explain it properly in the app, is whether or not going down on your right and then up, down on your left is considered 1, or down on your right is 1 and then up, down on your left is 2. It didn't really explain this. It said do 8 reps, so I did 8 reps, assuming it's probably 4 on each side, otherwise it would, I guess, be 16 in total. Again, I wasn't sure. It didn't clearly say this in the app. I'm not the smartest man in the world, so I'm either doing too little or too much. Either way, who knows. We did the leg raise hip thrust. That was absolutely fine. I think my technique was relatively okay. Looking at how they did it in the videos, I think that was probably good. Jumping squats. Okay, so technique was really good on this one. Again, do squats. I thought I might have been repeating this circuit 3 times, but I think I probably did it 6. But I still continued in 10. But heavy, right? So I finished for my life. Actually did die. The tuck jumps was incredibly difficult. First 5 to 10 were relatively okay, and then 10 to probably 15 were even more difficult, and 15 to 20 were really slow, and I did them, and then 20 to 25 was... I didn't have a very good pace when I was doing it. I realised my legs were very, very, very heavy and weighted down, and my technique was sloppy. My legs were no longer working, and my body was trying to fight every inch it had to stop me from actually doing any of these squats. I managed to do it. Again, not great technique, but it was done. I will be focusing on my technique moving forward and even try on that, but at the end of the day, when your legs are no longer working, it's quite hard to continue pushing it, but it is all about pushing yourself and continue doing it. Then we did a cool down after. The cool down was absolutely fine. One thing I did probably notice, in fact, one thing I did definitely notice, is I've just worked my quads for a while. I think I did something like 60 squats and 25 jumps, and there was no stretch to help your quads at all, which I thought was just a little bit odd. Maybe it's something they've overlooked. All the other stretches had all the other exercises in mind, so I was doing things like, notice is I've just worked my quads for a while. I think I did something like 60 squats and 25 jumps, and there was no stretch to help your quads at all, which I thought was just a little bit odd. Maybe it's something they've overlooked. The other stretches had all the other exercises in mind. Doing some of those stretches were actually really nice. I've never done those stretches before. That was fine, but the only thing I did notice was that you're not doing quads. Overall, I think day 1 went well. It was well. There was a lot of sweat. It was nice to get out of the house during quarantine and give myself something to do. I'll be doing this for 12 weeks. I don't know if I'll be doing an update every single time. We'll see how I go. I get bored quite easily. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. One thing I did also notice as well, I wanted to skip to see what day 2 was going to be. You can only look at day 2 if you've completed day 1, so when I wanted to look at day 2, it says, beat my personal best. I didn't look too further into that because the app crashed and hasn't come back on, so this could just be a glitch, I'm not sure. But I thought it was quite interesting. Day 2 is best, which I don't currently, I have only done it. If anything I've just mentioned, try and figure out how to actually